Hello, hello, hello.
Hello. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Th- Thank you all for for joining us for our episode number 6 of Unlikely Sisters. We are super excited that you are with us on today. My name is Maronda. I am one of the co-hosts of Unlikely Sisters.
And I'm Alaina Michon, also co-host. You ready for today's topic? We have a
I
lot to
am.
go over, a few articles, a few things that we're gonna be going over today that happened
Yeah.
this week, and the Netflix show documentary. That's crazy.
It was called Twitter Swindler.
Swindler, Tinder
Uh,
swindler,
Yeah,
Tinder
Tinder
swindler.
Swindler.
Yeah.
So if you all have not seen it, we're not getting any plug for this, but we're just if you're interested in watching it, go to Netflix and watch Tinder Swindler. It's a interesting documentary, real life documentary of several women who have been swindled um, after meeting this particular millionaire
So
on um, on this, what is it?
Tinder, Tinder.
No, what's Tinder? Yeah, even though I just said Tinder. This Tinder app. So, oh my goodness, it was a mess. So, since we're talking about it, let's get into it. Our topic today is a woman's pursuit of love. I think as women, a lot of women, we want to find happiness. We want to be in a relationship. Yes, we're happy in our singleness, right? But some women want to be married or booed up. It's cuffing season. It's cold out. We want somebody to lay up with, boo up with, whatever. A lot of women who were, married, whatever, they want to be in a relationship. The lady on there, she was talking about how she loves to be in love. She loves to be the butterflies and the nervousness that she feels. What did you think about this after you watched it? How did you feel about this?
Um, I see manipulation, uh, you know, from the man's perspective, and the really people's needs to be loved and like and adventure,
Right.
um, and what shapes our judgment as people. Because I can't judge those women because I'm not in their space. I'm not in their head. You know what I
Right.
mean? And in
Sure.
that moment, it made sense to them to do
Right.
what they did for this guy. Um, but it was interesting. So we'll give a little more of a backstory. So,
I,
if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert. You can fast forward through this part of the podcast. But it comes on with. Is she's the main character or just one the first?
she's like the main character. She's like the one that's pretty much talking about it. And then at the very end, other women that, his current girlfriend get involved. And then other women that have dated him gets involved. So, mhm.
So this girl, she's in real pursuit of love, right? So she shows the camera that she did over 1,000 Tinder dates or matches, and she's been on it for like 10 years. I think she said something like that, and she's really just trying to find the one, trying to figure it out, see if he's out there on the Tinder app.
Mhm.
I don't know if she's on any other apps, but I guess Tinder is her main way to get dates and try to find in a long term relationship. Which that's what she said. She's in pursuit of a long term thing. She's not into hook up and stuff like that. She's for love.
Right.
Um, and she matches with this guy. Um, his name I think is Simon Levy or Levy. I don't know. There's a lot of V's in
Yeah.
that.
Simon. Simon.
Simon, right? And they start talking. He tells her, did he tell her then that he was the son of a diamond
Empire, like this
fighter?
diamond.
His dad is the king of diamonds,
He's the
Lee.
prince of diamonds.
Um, he told him his dad name was Leave or Lev, Levy or something like that.
Hmm.
And he travels it around, but he likes her energy. I think they go on a date. They meet up, go on a date, and then on a date he was like, "Well, I'm gonna leave. I have to leave, but I really want you to come with me." And she's agrees. First time meeting this guy, agrees. Go on end up going
Her friends are texting her like, "What? Are you
crazy.
sure this is safe, girl? What are you doing?"
And she's like, YOLO, you only live once. And Bill's like, oh, but you could die.
Right? Like they like, "Who is this man? Where did you find him?"
Right.
Like,
They saw all the red flags. Obviously, she saw
hmm
them. So
she's mystified.
she's mystified, right? So she goes back to her apartment. A Rolls Royce pulls up. She packs her bag, packs everything, heads over to the airport, fly on this private
Private
jet
jet.
to, I forgot where they were going.
Yeah, I don't know if they went to Sweden or something or somewhere.
Somewhere. It
Cause
was
you,
a different country
huh?
than where she was at. It was a different country than where she was at because she
Right. It was
was she's already in Sweden, I think. Was this the one from Sweden? It was a few.
no the one that he was. I think she was. They went to Sweden because you remember the current girlfriend was like they flew to my country. You remember like at the end the girl was like she flew to my country.
Was it
Country.
Amsterdam? It was one of those
Some
countries.
of yeah, it
He
was
flew all over
somewhere
the place.
mhm,
I couldn't keep up. He was just going places.
everywhere. Italy, Greece, Sweden, Amsterdam. He was
He
an
was living his
international
best life. Okay,
player, right?
he
On
lived
their
it.
dime, on their dime.
So right. So he told her that he had his daughter with him, and she was going back to his mother, and he's going on business trips and stuff like that. So when she got to the plane, um, a woman was with the daughter, ended up being the mother of the daughter, right? And the
Mhm.
mother of the daughter telling her, "Oh, he's such a great guy. We're not together, but he take care of us." Blah 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 blah
Right,
blah. And she didn't even think of it, like talking to him in the car all the way to
right.
the hotel, and then of course that night they hook up. It was so magical. And then I think the next morning he was like, "Well, I got business. You have to go back home now." And he sends her back home.
Right. Let me hit it and quit it. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. To me, that's what it seemed like. You have sex with this man on the first day meeting him. He pulls up to the Four Seasons. She was like,
Right.
she felt out of place.
Four seasons, right.
Yeah. So she was impressed with the first date, pulling up, cars, Four Seasons. She felt out of place. Like he fancy, you know what I'm saying? And she was
Mhm.
impressed with the Rolls Royce pulling up. They go to, they fly somewhere. She's impressed. Private jet. She filming it or on her phone. Like she was like she knew. I think she said she
Mhm.
felt weird, but she wanted to film it anyway.
Right.
And they have
Good for
sex,
her.
and he
She really kept everything.
right, and
I'd have
that's
been looking for stuff. Me, I'm like, dang,
yeah, that's good that she kept everything. But the thing about it is, he had sex with her, wooed her, and then sent her on her way. And I think that's the hook right there.
that's the
Like,
hook. Like
let
Ruda
me
showed them, he has all this money.
right.
He is a diamond person. Blah blah blah. They continue to text back and forth.
She's hooked.
Right, for like a month or something like that. And I think after a month, he was like, "We want to live together." So she goes look for an apartment. He was like, "Their budget is 15,000 a month," and I'm like, "Red flags."
I mean, but she like he's a millionaire. He's a diamond prince. So it's
Really,
like
like he's good,
that's
right?
change for him. Is according
Right.
to what she thought.
Right. So I guess she finds them an apartment, and then it's in the middle of the night. He gets these texts of his bodyguard being hurt and cut, and somebody's after him, and all his credit cards had to be stopped because his enemies are tracking his his card,
Spending
his spending, and his card. Like, why would your enemies care about your spending? Whatever.
because they tracking him. Suppose I guess they're able to track him because
Where
he's
he's
swiping
going.
his cards at the restaurants and the hotels, so they
Right.
know where he is. So
So she ended up getting a American Express card and sending it to him or giving him access to her card so it could be under her name, not his, so his enemies won't track where he's going, flying to whatever.
hmm
Um,
right,
and then again, he came back to her, I think a few weeks later and said, I'm still waiting on my money to be released. I need about $25,000. And she was like, I don't know where I'm gonna get 25,000 from, but he's my boyfriend. I love him. So she takes out a loan. uh, then something else happened, and she takes out another loan. Then something else happens, she takes out another loan, and then he's like, I'm gonna make you. If I put you as like in a business, like you're an employee, then I can send you money like that. Blah blah blah. So he ended up sending her a check for like 94,000, something like that, for the month, right? And she was like, yeah, and that covered what I gave to him. So, but then she knows, she's trying to looking at her account, like, okay, when this check gonna clear in this account? And he's just telling her like, look, I mean, she's telling him, look, I don't see the money. She's give it a few days, I already paid. The money is good. It's not in our account no more. You're gonna get it. Blah blah. Keep stringing her along. So that's
And
what.
let's not forget about the Amex.
Oh
The
yeah, he was spinning the Amex up.
I mean,
And then what? No, what he made her do was, because he was working for her, and they had this check, and he showed proof of her pay that increased her limit on the Amex card, so he was still able to spend and spend and
so
spend.
he had her get the Amex in her name,
Right,
and but then he had access to it, and
right.
he's taken off 250,000 or whatever these large amounts of money on this Amex card.
Hmm.
He's at these hotels spending what she said $2,000 a day
He said
at these
in 3 days
hotels.
he spent $20,000 in 3 days.
Right. I want to know. I don't know if you've caught this part up, but I missed something. Who was this other girl he was with at these other places? You know what I'm saying? Did you see?
So
Who was that?
Cornelia, I think the first girl name was Cicely or something like that, and the second girl's name
Mhm.
was Cornelia or something like that. And she met him on Tinder. And this was
No, but you remember when she was
huh?
saying, "Oh, he was spending money," and I thought he saw pictures of her. He said, "Oh, I've got a girlfriend or something," and they
No,
all.
right. So what happened was, um, him and Cornelia went out. They went out, and she wasn't feeling it romantically, but like he's a cool guy. We're gonna stay friends. So they were friends.
Okay, they were
And
friends. Okay.
so the summer that he was still taking money from Sicily or Sicila, whatever her
Mhm. Mhm.
he started dating the model, and that was the other girl. And Cornelia was just tagging along against her and her guy, and then his crew
Okay.
and the model was with her, was with him, and all summer they just doing all kind of stuff, partying, going to all these different places, and all this kind of stuff, spending money. She said that he was taking care of the bills, doing everything in cash. Yeah, I think when she got the 25,000 the first time, that's when Cornelia came in because she had
Mhm.
$25 given to him in cash.
Right.
And that night, that same night, he called Cornelia and was like, "Hey, I'm in your town. Come have this party." He just
Hanging out.
he was just spinning up in the club.
Yeah, he just, and I'm
Yeah,
thinking to myself, why are you funding his fun? Like he's out with this other girl hanging out, and they were friends, but still, you're funding him
but she
out
didn't
here in
know.
these streets.
Cecilia didn't know that that money, the 25,000 she just gave him in cash, was going
Right,
to fund this stuff. She didn't know. And Cicely didn't know, because
right. What was
he's a
going on
demon.
either?
How would you know?
Right,
At that point, he didn't ask her for money yet,
right.
so she don't know. They didn't know. So um, after I don't know, they wasn't. I don't think he was dating. Maybe I guess for the summer, he was dating Cecilia,
Hmm.
and then she decided, she said something. He got mad and it upset her or something. So um, at that point, she already took out 9 loans plus the Amex card, and all these people's coming after the money, and she's trying to tell him, "Look, I need the money back because all these people are coming." And then started being nasty with her on the phone, and then she blocks him or something like that.
Right.
And that's when I think he called her mom house and threatened her and stuff like that. And that's when she decided to call Amex, American Express, and they came to her house and showed a picture of him.
And she ended up losing her house. She went and started living with her mother
Mm-hmm.
because now she has all this debt. So now she's living with mom. Did you mention that? I didn't. I know
Mm-mm.
you said she was at mom's, but yeah, now she's living with mom now. So she
Yeah.
went home to her mom, and now here come the Amex. The people from
The
Amex.
people came and they was saying, yeah, he was under a different name, and they gave him a name that he did it in 2016 to three Finnish women, in Finland, and he actually served some time in Finland, um, and but they didn't release the three people's names. So that's when Cecilia decided to go and do a story with the
The
biggest.
newspaper, the local newspaper
I don't know if it's local, but it was one of the biggest newspapers
in
around,
that area. Yeah.
right, in her area. I think she was in Harlow. I think that's the name of the country she was in, or something like that, or city.
Hmm.
I'm still not sure.
I'm not sure, girl. I know
I
we.
know
I
it was
know it was in
Harlow,
the
but
U.
I don't know what country.
Yeah, I'm
There
not
were so
sure.
many countries being said.
Right. They were all over the place.
Yeah, England. They were like Europe. It was all over Europe.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Hmm.
Um, and then after she couldn't get in touch with him, wait, she blocked him. So she wasn't trying to get in touch with him at this point. She's just trying to recoup, trying to figure out who this guy is, and if he is a con artist, she needs the story out here so he won't be able to do this to anyone. Like she
Right.
needs to get the story out. So
Right.
she started doing her research. They were doing research. I know they ended up the newspaper had to do their research too, and uh, that's when they found Cornelia. Because the newspaper ended up finding Cornelia because her name was on on the flights from Cecilia that Cecilia funded.
And that was his current girlfriend.
No, she
I
never
thought she was the current girlfriend. Oh, I guess they didn't
she never
introduce her
dated.
until later.
They were just friends because
Okay.
she was like she didn't feel no romantic, so they were just friends. But she spent the whole summer with him
Oh,
with
Cornelia. Okay, we haven't gotten to the current girlfriend. That was
right.
the one that went to when she went with him when he wanted to go get a facelift or something or go get his face
Yeah,
done. You
no,
remember that?
no, that's source. She was funny.
I mean, this
She was
man
funny.
was a mess, you guys. He was trying to get his face redone. I think he said he wanted to get his nose and something lips or something done.
You
And
jumping all the way to the end of the story, girl.
I mean, you gonna tell him the whole thing? I mean,
I mean, they
let's.
have to go and watch it. I'm just saying, okay, so they got to Cornelia. They told Cornelia everything that happened. At this point, she had ended up with giving him about $40,000 because he said the same thing, sent the same pictures to her, said they got beat up. So this is his thing:
Hmm.
bring fear in his women, thinking their friend isn't, and he's good for the money because obviously he's spending all his money, he got his money.
Right,
She ended up giving them $40,000, and then you know try to confront him. But he was like, "That's not true. My enemies are making up these stories." Blah blah blah.
right.
So she ended up deciding to meet with him because he was gonna give her a watch that cost like $100,000 to pay for
Some of the
her
debt,
debt.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but the whole time she was mad, like this.
I mean, because you remember he gave her that one check, it didn't go through, and she like, I
Right,
want my money, and he's like, well, I did my part, I gave you the check,
right.
and so she's mad at him, and we have to go back and let them know that she admitted herself into a psychiatric ward as well. She
Oh,
was
that
just
was
so
Cecilia.
just
Yeah, Cecilia.
yeah, the
Yeah,
original girl this is
that
based
started
around.
the
Um,
investigation. Yeah.
yeah, she ended up putting herself in a psychiatric ward. She feared for her life because he was threatening her and stuff like that. So she went through so much trying to get this man together. But Elena's going to tell you the rest. She'll let you know what happened.
So with Cecilia, they ended up taking pictures. They found out where she was going because I think she told them where they were going, and she was like giving them, "We're gonna be here. We just
Right,
got here," because she was texting them, but he didn't know who she was texting.
right,
He ended up seeing a cameraman. I'm like, what kind of cameraman?
right. That's what I was like. They taking pictures of us. I'm like, oh wow, y'all sloppy,
Like, what kind of lens? Y'all had like the biggest lens or something. Like, how did they
girl.
see y'all?
He saw the people taking pictures of him, so he knew something was up. So he
Right.
got paranoid. That was sloppy on their part. The news people, anyway.
They're not real detectives. They just trying to get their story. Okay.
Right. We're trying to be inconspicuous or nothing. Like, okay, we out here with this big lens. Let's take a picture. There he is. Okay,
Right.
go ahead. Like the paparazzi.
So I don't know. He ended up leaving. She ended up leaving. Oh, they got into a car, did a high speed chase around Munich. That's where Munich came in, around Munich. So she decided to get out. She's like, "Let me out, whatever." So she
He
left.
lets her out. I mean,
Lets her
he's
out.
like, get
Lets her
out.
out. She went and
Yep.
got the watch appraised. It was fake.
Fake.
So I think at that point, that's when she confronted him about everything because he had called her and they had a long conversation.
Yep. And
Uh,
he lied about it all. He denied it.
he denied it all. And then I don't know how they found the current. Oh, because the current girlfriend, when the media thing came out, the news article, she said that she was talking to him, and then the news article popped up, and she was like, "That's my boyfriend's face."
Hmm.
The third woman, I cannot remember her name.
I don't
I
remember. I don't want to lie. I don't know.
don't remember her name, but she was a beast. So she was like, she sent it to him, and he was like, "Oh, that's my enemies. They're lying. They're making these women do all this just to get to me. Blah 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 blah." But at
Right.
this point, she was like, "You lying." And at this
Yeah.
point, I think she gave him like $140,000,
Yeah.
and found out like at the time that he was going out with Cecilia and the model, she was
Hmm.
fucking that too. So she
Yeah.
was getting money like.
She was not happy about it,
She
honey.
was
And
not happy about it, so she decided to swindle the swindler
yeah.
and was like, "Okay, we're gonna have to um, make you some money. You wearing all these high end clothes, and I think she was in the fashion industry, so she knows
Yeah. She
her
said.
worth. So she was like, "I'm gonna come see you. You know, we're gonna sell your clothes. We're gonna get you this money that you need." Blah blah blah.
Hmm.
He agreed to it because she was playing it up. Just I
But
love
guess
you. I can
what?
do you. I
The
don't care
play,
about
the player got played
all the way play.
all the way. I think she was a little bit more level headed. Yeah.
Yeah. So when we got to him, she was uncomfortable, but she just played it through. I'm like, you go, girl, because I don't
She
think I
was
could have played
strong.
it.
Yeah.
Man, I would like stabbed him.
I would have cussed and said, "What's going on?" Da, da, da. I would have broke character, baby. She played it all the way through. She was like, "Well, I'm a." She was like, "We went to bed, and I was disgusted, but I just went on with it." And
He was lucky
she,
she was so glad he didn't try nothing because she didn't want to do
right,
nothing with them. She said
he
she
probably didn't want to have sex either. He was probably just like, "Whatever."
right.
She don't want it. I don't either. Okay, fine.
Of other women, right?
Right, because he
So,
was tired, probably.
right, he was tired. I don't understand. He was, how you have this much time, dude?
I
And then
mean,
remember
because
we
that's
like,
your lifestyle. You don't have a job. This is his job. Like, you know how we do our 9 to 5. That was his 9 to 5, swindling and faking. And he was so smart coming up with all these different accounts. Had pictures, had followers, had all this stuff going on. Everything was legit. When you Google him, it came up. So he knew how to finagle somehow.
because
And
when you Google the name, his last name, that's why it came with the diamonds because it was a
right,
true last name of a real
right,
diamond person. So yeah,
hmm
it looks legit because and then
right.
he photoshopped himself in the pictures with the millionaire and all this other kind of stuff.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. That was his 9 to 5. That's like he was doing, spending his time finagling and trying to finesse and coming up with lies. And he had people on his squad doing it with him,
Yeah.
bodyguard and all these people. I was just like, wow. So
So I finally got him caught because she was selling his stuff. She had like 3 suitcases of all this like expensive
high
stuff,
end
just
clothes, right?
selling it on eBay, making all this money. And of course, he's getting mad. He was like, "Where's the money?" And she, I don't think she was responding, or she was like,
Nope.
"It's not selling as fast or whatever." But she was making money. She was like, she didn't
She's
recover
paying
as
her bills.
with him, but it just felt good to like.
Hmm.
And during the interview, she was like, "Oh, there's another one of his things sold just now."
Right. I was like, she said, I'm getting my money.
He was
Don't
like,
play
"You
with
still
me.
currently selling this stuff right now?" She was like,
Yeah, she's
"Yeah."
currently selling his stuff. Like, I mean, that's so smart. She's still making money after all of this.
Right.
She's gonna
And
get her money. But
right.
she's the only one I think that's getting probably some type of compensation,
Some
not because of him giving it to her, but because of
took it.
what she did. Right.
Yeah. So what ended up happening was he had sent her an Amex card under, I forgot the name. It was a different name, David Sharon or
Under a
something.
man's name, yeah, under a
David
different
Sharon.
name.
So when she went to meet up with him, she was trying to find, like you said, a plastic surgeon to like change all these things on his face. And plastic surgeons was like, I'm not gonna do that because most times criminals do stuff like that.
Only a crook
Like
wants
in her
to
head,
do
like you understand, he is a criminal. That's why you're trying to get
that. Right.
So she knew where he was going because he was talking about, I forgot what area he was going to next. But she ended up telling the police in that area, and if it's not under Simone, try David Sharon, and lo and behold, when he got off the plane, he got arrested. So she did her part.
Right. She like, he's arrested. I'm done. I've done my part. But go ahead and tell him what happened at the end though. He's out of jail. He only served
Oh,
5 months in jail.
yeah. He
I
only
mean, you
well,
act like you
he only got like a 15-month sentence, but only
he only served
served
like 5 months, five,
five
6 months.
months. He's still dating women, still buying fancy stuff, still flashing stuff. He's still on social media,
Flashing
still
money.
using the name Simon, whatever the last name is, like still doing it.
And they
He
said he
just
wasn't charged for
he wasn't
manipulating or embezzling money from these women
was
or
women,
whatever.
and they're still paying their debts off.
the women are still paying off. The one woman who this was based on, Cicely, she what ended up it being over $250,000, a house pretty much that she still has to pay. And this
Right.
man is out of jail, flashing bags of money, dating a model, driving Ferraris and Rolls Royces, and still flashing money. Started a business actually. Did he
Yeah,
start a business?
I think
Like
so.
a business? He
Hmm.
said.
A business. I don't know if he's trying to help
Um,
other vendors. I don't know what it's for.
he started a business where he's teaching classes about how to start run a business or something like that. But he started his own online business, living the high life.
Hmm.
And these women are paying off debt. And he's didn't even really serve any jail time, and his accomplices didn't even get charged,
No, they
like the
didn't.
bodyguard and different people. So, and this is all, the going back to our topic of this podcast today, a woman's pursuit of love. And even at the end, this particular woman who is in debt now, $250,000, is still on Tinder, right?
Looking for love.
Looking for love. She says she's had over 1,000 matches, I guess, and she just wants to. I mean, and so I don't think we should give up on love. Of course not, but I
Emo-
think a lot of times when you're in the la la land, you miss the red flags. When
Mhm.
you have these unrealistic expectations, or you go about it the wrong way, or maybe you're not healed from any past hurts, because it seems like she still has some type of, I don't know, something that she was still dealing with, for her to even get in a position where you go out with a man on the first date, you allow him to fly you out. I probably would have been like, that sounds so nice of you to do that, but you know what, let's try to do this another time. I don't think I would have flown out with a man my first
Yeah.
night meeting
Yeah.
him. I don't care.
He's like, no, go do what you got to do. I'll be here. I'm
Yeah,
nice.
I would have been like, that sounds nice of you, but I'm not comfortable doing that. Or no, I'm just not going to do that right now. And to be confident enough to say that and not think, oh, I'm going to lose him if I don't go with him, you know, I just kind of felt sad for her, because you could kind of see the brokenness, you
Right.
know.
He has a trait. All these women look the same.
Yeah, I mean, blonde haired women, successful women. She was a computer person, I think, wasn't she?
I
She
think
had
so.
a good job. These women are successful. One lady was in the fashion industry. He started dating a model. So these women are successful. They're beautiful. They have money. They're very intelligent,
And I have
very
access to
smart
that
women.
money because if it was me, I'm like, I don't know where you gonna get this from because they ain't gonna give me a god doggone
I wouldn't have got a loan for nobody. Like, a loan for who? I've only known you a month, and you are a diamond king. Where is your account? I think people that are that rich, you have money in your safe at home. You have
you
other
have access to
accounts.
some kind of cash
You have
that's
other
connected
accounts.
to other accounts.
You can
You have some.
liquidate some assets. You have your dad. You have family. Why are you so desperate for money
Yes,
all the time?
the thing is, he's getting all his money from women, but he's spending it just as fast as he's getting it. I'm like, dude, save some, put some away. Like,
I think he feels like he's invincible, which he is, because he didn't only serve 5 months in jail, got out, waving at the cameras. He's driving a car. I don't know where he got this car from when he was out of jail. He wasn't
mhm.
being driven. He was driving. Like, oh, hey, I got me a car already. I'm wearing nice clothes already. I'm already living. I'm still living my life. You
Yeah,
guys didn't stop nothing.
and y'all still got paid for my, pursuits to other women.
Y'all were helping me pursue other women. Y'all were helping me live this lavish life with other women. And it's just heartbreaking to see, because we want love. We want, I think we just have to not be desperate. And I think, we just have to know what that looks like. And I'm not saying that
I
because we
don't think
want love,
he's
we're
not
desperate.
desperate. I think he was just saying the right things. I don't consider them being well. The one that
Well, that's,
still on Tinder, she's a little she knows what she wants. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think that's just my take on it. I mean, I feel like, if you are that at a point where, yes, you want love, but where are you going to draw the line and say, I want love, but I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to get loans out. I'm not going to put an Amex in my name. I'm not
and
going to
then
allow
you
you
go
to.
to somebody else.
Right. I'm not going to allow you to write me fake checks that I work for your company for $94,000 so
That
I can
seems
get an
like
increase.
fraud,
Huh?
right? That seems like fraud. I'm like, that.
Right. That's fraud. I mean, you're doing fraud as well, but this man is a millionaire. He's a diamond prince. So
Right.
to me, doing things like that is desperate, in my opinion,
Yeah.
because it's like certain things you need to draw the line. Yes, I want to date you, I want to be pursued, but where am I going to draw the line that this is not okay? I'm I'm doing fraudulent things just to be with you. When am I going to stop and say, wait a minute? Yes, I want to be loved, but at what cost?
I see all these you flying all these places. Like I'm like, if I'm doing this and I'm using my money, I'm coming with you.
Right. Or if you going here and here and here, why don't you have any money?
Right.
Because if you hadn't have met me, how was you going to fly all these places? What has happened before? So, and then too, why would you want to be connected to somebody who got this tumultuous lifestyle? You got all these gangsters after you. Your bodyguard is getting beat up.
Right.
It's like, I mean, where's it going to stop? Like, where's it going to end? That I'm unsafe being with this man. I don't want to do this. I mean, my life is too important to even put myself at risk. So I think it's just, that's just my take on it. But it just seems like desperation when you go to that length. I don't think it's desperate to want love, but I think certain things that we do, especially when it comes to the extreme, it's like, wait a minute, let me fall back, let me stop, let me look. Especially your girlfriends were texting you saying, wait a minute, girl, who is, stop, hold up, who
That
is
would have
this
been a red
man?
flag right now. They're like, why they so? Maybe I should take a step back and really like
Yeah,
think about this.
right. And so,
I'm pretty sure there was some women that he came across. They were like, oh, nah, player.
right. That's why they weren't on the documentary, honey, because they was
Right.
like, nope, we're good.
But they had a lot of people. They when the article came out, they said they had got received so many people and how much money they was gave them and all this kind of stuff. Like he, and it wasn't just women, men too. He was
Yeah.
swindling. He'd be swindling,
I mean,
swindling.
he was. I mean, since he was 17 years old, they were talking about how, oh, we met him and he babysat our children. I mean, this man was in people's houses getting blank checks and forging blank checks. Even when he was working on a real job, he stole from his employer. I mean, this man,
It's a criminal, and he needs to be behind jars for life. Behind
but
bars, behind jars.
right. But that's what I don't understand when knowing that he's done this, you're forging fake checks. Why didn't that give him jail time? You know what I'm saying? Why didn't that alone? But you all, that's just an unfortunate. Go watch it. It's
Yeah,
called
it's Tinder swindler.
Tinder. That was a clever name, Tinder Swindler. So, and for me, as being a single woman, Elena's married, happily married. I've been married before, but at this current time, I'm single, and so I've debated on whether or not I'm going to go on these dating apps or if I want to do this. And a lot of times when I see stuff like this, and I'm not saying all dating apps are the same, but it still confirms to me, like, that's why I don't want to be a date on a dating app, period. I don't care if it's Christian Mingle, it could be Match.com, Bumble, nut, whatever it is. I don't want to do any of them because there's so many people out there looking to hook up with a woman who has been single for a while. And there's women on there who like those apps because they are looking for a one night stand, or they just want somebody to lay up with, or they just want a good time. I understand, or they just want to go out on the date. They're not looking for anything serious.
Mhm.
But I think a lot of times we need to really be in a healthy space before we go on these apps, and know that when red flags come up, don't ignore the red flags, period. um, I don't care how good he sounds, he may be the truth, but you still want to take it slow and look for red flags. But I'm not interested in any dating apps. I'm just going to get out here and enjoy my life. And if that man finds me while I'm out living my life, then perfect. But um, nah, I think I'm good on the. My beautician was telling me, she's like, girl, you need to start because we have two airports here in the DFW area. We have a smaller one, Love Field, and we have a DFW one. I
Mhm.
normally fly out of Love Field because it's closer to my house,
Mhm.
Southwest, blah blah blah. She was like, girl, you need to go on to DFW. She said that's a big airport. She said it'd be men in there that travel, that or whatever. You could talk to somebody on the plane, and not saying that you need to hook up at the airport, but you putting yourself out there to
Who
be
they
seen.
traveling from and who too? You know what I mean?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Now
But
with this dude, he was a jet setter. He always flying.
yeah, but you just never know. She just basically was saying this is an opportunity, if you don't want to do the apps, to kind of just put yourself out there to be seen, because you can't find anybody sitting in your house. And plus, if you're
Mhm.
not going to the airport that where all the men are traveling and going on business trips, and hopefully they are. If they say they're single, they really are single. Because again, that's another issue. A lot of different men who are saying they're single, or they might be going to see somebody, but then they flirt with you in the airport. So it's just
Right.
a lot going on. It's just unfortunate that sometimes the genuineness of people is not always there. So
No, you're right. You're right.
it's unfortunate.
We're gonna go to our next topic. You had sent me, I sent you the topic. So we'll go to the last topic at the end. But there was this woman, and it brought up an uproar on Twitter. She uh, was talking to this guy. I think they was talking like maybe a month or so before. I'm just
Hmm.
talking, having conversations, and she found that he likes cigars. Um, and so it was finally doing their first date. So she decided she knew that her dad liked cigars. So she went to her dad, told him that, I met this guy. He's nice. He really likes cigars. I want to bring him, cigar. What kind of cigar should I bring him for the first date? So her dad ended up giving her a cigar and giving her
Hmm.
a cigar cutter, and her mom wrapped it up in with some contact paper and twine or tulle or something like that. So she told her story, I think, on TikTok, and women were all up in guards, like, "Oh, she's desperate. Why would she bring him a gift? Women should never buy nothing for men. She's the gift." Like they were going in on her.
Right.
How did you feel about that?
After I heard the entire story, I was like, what, there's nothing wrong with that. I think a lot of times, if you have a genuine heart and you're a giver, I thought she was just being considerate. You're letting this person know, I hear you.
Hmm.
I heard in our conversation that you liked cigars. It's not like she went out and bought a cigar for him. Her dad liked him. He gave her a cigar.
Right.
Her mom wrapped it really nice for him. She gave it to him. I think it was very thoughtful. I don't think it's not like she went and brought him some Louboutin shoes or went and got him a Gucci belt or something. She went and
Right.
gave him just something. I think it was a thoughtful gift, just like what I think when men show up to dates with roses or
Hmm.
flowers. It's not like, oh, he desperate. He brought me flowers. I think it's like, well, he's being considerate. He's being nice. He knows that I like this type of flower. Or I think it's just a considerate gift. And as far as with the young ladies nowadays, not my generation, but women, younger ladies nowadays, they do things like that. Bringing a man a gift or asking a man out on a date or um, and different things like that. And I haven't done that on a first date, but after getting to know somebody after a while, I've bought things for men that I've dated. I don't think there's anything wrong with buying a man a gift. You
And
don't
I've
have to be
even,
married
me and my
to.
husband dated for a few times. I ended up paying for a meal or
Right.
two. Like,
I've never paid for a meal until after we were dating for a while. Like,
mhm.
obviously when I was married, I'm gonna pay for a meal or when we were dating for a while. But in the beginning, yeah, he paid or whatever. But I also would do nice gestures. Oh, I know you like this. A nice gesture. Like, and I think eventually they said in the conversation that he bought her some albums because he know she
Yeah, so
likes vinyl.
that same night he brought her.
Yeah,
He knew that she liked albums because in the same conversation she found out that he liked cigars.
right,
He found out that she collects albums, so he brought her to his favorite album store where he get albums from, and bought her a few albums. So
right.
he actually spent money on her, where she got a free gift from her
Right,
parents.
and her gift may have been more valuable as far as the price of the cigar. Her dad, whatever types of cigars he purchased. But anyway, I think it's people being thoughtful. I think we need to go back to being considerate of one another, going back to being genuine and kind to one another, and not everything being so superficial. As far as, oh, you don't do this. No, I don't think the woman should go out and pay his rent or pay his car note. Of course not, but I think there's nothing wrong with people being genuine. And I think because people have been taken advantage of for so much, and we still see so much drama or fraud or fakeness on the gram or on social media, that people don't know how to take being genuine or kind versus, oh, you're desperate and you just need a man. There's nothing wrong with her showing who she is as a person. Don't squat or squelch who you are.
What she wants to do, you know
Right.
what
She
I
did
mean?
she did what she wanted to do. And I think and the cool part about it is at the end, They said she ended up getting some connections with cigar companies, and she's doing some branding with cigar companies. So
Right.
how dope is that for you to just be go out and
Y'all
go
hating on
out.
me, and I'm up in here getting this bag. Okay.
Right. I just sat here and gave a guy a cigar because I wanted to be thoughtful, and on the flip side, it ended up bringing her some type of brand endorsements with these with cigar companies. How awesome is that? Because of her
She was
true
being genuine
genuineness.
and she was being true, and
She
um,
wasn't trying to manipulate him, or she wasn't looking for anything. She was just being kind and being herself. And I think we need to all get back to being kind and being genuine to one another instead of always looking at somebody is trying to take advantage of us or somebody trying to manipulate us. I think it's because, again, what we just talked about in the beginning, this man, these women are being genuine. They really want to find love. And then here we have a master manipulator on the other end. And I think it's so much of that out there. I think sometimes it's just hard to decipher for
right.
people, especially the younger generation, especially if they don't have any guidance or leading from their family, their parents. It's just very hard out here, period, to date. No matter what your age is. My daughter, she's 22 years old. She tells me horror stories. I'm in my late 40s. I have horror stories. I think that it's just unfortunate out here in general when you're trying to date, whether you're in the church, whether you are, we're going to talk about that, whether you're in the church, whether you're in the streets, whatever you, women out there saying, well, if I want to have sex with whoever, I'm free, I'm a woman, I can do whatever I want. Whatever your ideal or mentality is, I still think it's very hard out here a lot of times. So,
Yeah. And don't judge other women for living how they
right,
want to live, right?
right. Because
Because
we don't judge you.
our women are like, oh, it's 50-50 out here, but so if it's 50-50, then you should have no problem if you want to pursue a man and go ask him out on a date. You know,
Right,
because
right.
I said this to Maronda before. She's like, oh no. I'm like, I feel like whoever asks who out for the date should pay for it.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to do a date. You can be like, let's go get
Let's go
coffee.
have coffee. Right.
I'll pay for your coffee. You like, you don't have to do a big thing. Why you say no? You don't know if he have the money for that, but you asked him out. You asked him out. That means
But
you.
most likely, to be honest with you, Elena, I most likely won't. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you. That's just
So
me.
you'll go Dutch. You'll rather pay for your own, or if y'all go on a date, then he has to pay for it. I
To
mean,
be
because
honest with you, I'm gonna let y'all know my honest, true. I'm being genuine, 100. If I go out with a man to dinner, I expect for him to pay. Period. I was born in the '70s. I'm old school. I expect for you to open my door. I expect for you to pay. I expect for you, if we married, you gonna pay the rent. It ain't gonna be no half and half. I'm expecting for you to pay the rent, all of it. I'm expecting for you to handle business. Yes, I'm gonna pay for groceries. I'm gonna do whatever. But that's just, and that's the great thing about you and I. You have a totally different perspective.
I
This
do.
is my perspective, and I don't apologize for it. I'm not going to change my mind about it. This is just my perspective as me growing up in the 70s, 80s, 90s, me as a young woman, as a person. I know my daughter probably feels a lot different. She probably feels a lot like you, but as a woman almost 50 years old, I'm not paying for dinner. Period. If we've been dating for maybe 6 months or a year, okay, I think, yeah, I'll pay, no problem. But in the beginning, I'm not. So that's just honest from me. And the men that I have dated don't ask me, don't question me, don't even ask me to leave a tip. Even if I say, I'll leave the tip, they'll be like, no, don't worry about it, because that's the type of men that I want to date.
Right.
And that's the type of men I expect for them to do that, because that's just me. Maybe that's why I'm still single, but I'm okay with that. I'm not going to
No, I mean it's
compromise.
like I said that,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying if so you'll say if you go and you take the lead and you ask a man out to date, which I know you wouldn't do because that's not the person that you are. But I'm just saying hypothetically, a woman asks a
Yeah.
man out on a date.
Sure.
If she asked him out, I think that would be only fair for her to pay for the date. I'm just
Okay.
saying. But that's like saying, men shouldn't hit women, but it's okay for a woman to constantly hit a man. And when he hit her back, it's like, you no.
I'm okay. That is totally different to me. I don't think that's a woman should hit on a man, because
I don't think, yeah,
I don't think a woman should be hitting on a man, and I definitely don't think a man should be hitting on a woman. I don't think there should be violence like that in a relationship. I think that if you're defending yourself, okay, but if you upset and you in your feelings, again, we need to learn how to respect one another, honor one another, and get healing from our past trauma.
Right.
before we go into these relationships broken and hurting and traumatizing somebody else with our baggage. I think we need to really be honest with ourselves,
Right.
when we're dating, and our expectations as far as what we are looking for, what we expect, and what we desire and what we deserve as far as men and women. If I date a man and he's not down for that, then I know he's not the man for me. If a man asks me out and be like, "Oh, you need to pay for half the food," if I pay, we're not going out again. And I've had that happen to,
Like that's what I'm saying. If a man asks you out, yes, you.
but I've had a man ask me out and still ask me to pay for half.
That's
Guess
different.
what? That's why I always say when you
That's
go out,
different.
make sure you
I can
have
see if
money.
we coworkers and we going out just as coworkers,
Oh
yes,
yeah,
I'll pay for myself. But I'm
right.
just saying,
Yeah.
in the world where whoever asks whom out,
Hmm.
that person who doing the asking should be the one doing the paying.
Right. And
Unless you're that man that say, you know what, she did ask me out, but I'm gonna pay. I think the man should
yeah,
always lead. But
sure.
if if you're the aggressor and you're the approacher, be man or woman,
Right. And
then
I get it. I understand your point totally. I get it. I
I'm
mean,
saying that. But I didn't pay for anything, and my husband still opened doors for me. I
yeah,
didn't pay for our meals and stuff like that. Later on, I did pay for some
sure.
meals if we decided to go somewhere for his birthday and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I paid for the meals
Oh
and stuff
yeah, for
like that.
sure.
Most of the time, he pays for the
Hmm.
meals when we go out.
Yeah.
But that's what we did at the beginning. Like that's how we set out.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the tone that that I set as well. I'm not. I think even if I ask, and again, I don't see myself asking anybody out. I don't think I've ever done that. Um, if I ask a man out, I'm not paying for his food. Period. So if I ask somebody out, we're gonna go Dutch if that's how he feels about it, unless he offers and say, "Oh no, I got it." But I'm not. I mean, that's just me. Like I
Hmm.
said, that's just what it is for me. And like I said, I've never had asked anybody out, and I've never experienced that. If it's normally men and be like, oh hey, you want to go out and hang out, or you want to do this or whatever. But like I said, I was married for over 10 years, and so and after that I didn't really date because I was focusing on my children. So it's been 10 years, and so now I'm trying to get back out there again. And when I was in a short term relationship, maybe about 5 years ago, the gentleman that he approached me.
Hmm.
Again, he approached me. He sent for me to come out of town after we, talked for a while. It was a long distance relationship, so after time and I felt comfortable with him. Maybe a couple of months later, I met him out of town. I had a hotel room. You know what I'm saying? So I never was like, and if he took me out to dinner or we went out to dinner, there have been times, because I was like, oh, he's been so super generous to me. Not saying that I owed him anything, but I was like, you know what, I got it. I'll pay for our food. Or, when him and I were dating during the time we went out for breakfast for Valentine's Day, I paid for it. So like I said, I have paid for meals and buying him gifts. And I love to buy gifts for people because that's one of my love languages is gifts.
Hmm.
So I think I share my love language with others. So it's like I like gifts. I always give gifts to people or
Right.
the men that I date or whatever, my children, whatever. But that's just how it is for me.
I think one of the other ladies, from the one that we listened to, one of the ladies was
Mhm.
saying that she's a gift. She shouldn't. Women shouldn't buy men nothing, and they're the gift. I'm
Mhm.
like, no,
Yeah.
men need to be treated and feel like they're special too. Like I feel
Yeah,
like
of
it should
course.
be like I appreciate you seeing me do these things.
Right.
I should be able to do some things for you and make you feel
Right.
loved and appreciated. That I hear you too.
Right.
Um,
And I agree with that for sure. That's why I said, like, when I was dating this guy, I paid for them because I'm like, I appreciate him sending for me and doing nice things for me. He would send me gifts. Like, he would send me a card almost every week in the mail. He would handwrite. I mean, so he was super nice to me,
mhm,
very generous. And I was like, I want to be nice to him. I would buy him gifts as well, pay for food. So, like I said, I think it's just at a place of comfortability, I guess, or knowing this person, feeling like, okay, like you said, he deserves something too. And I feel that men do deserve especially if they're treating you with respect and kindness, that they do deserve that as well. So,
This just shows your appreciation. Hey, you take the time, you
right,
spend time on me, you spend money on me, and I'm just showing you back that appreciation that I
right,
see you, I feel you. It's not one sided in this relationship. I feel the same
right.
way you do. You know what I mean? It's just
Sure,
that appreciation.
of course. I mean, I
I know you
I I love buying gifts for people.
do not agree with men. I mean, women proposing to men.
Yeah, so that's the next thing we're going to talk about. So, there was a video, I think you shared it or I shared it with you on Instagram, where it was actually a picture. It's a video, but it was people made it into a picture, and I sent it to my daughter. She was like, "No way." And I said, I said, "Courtney, what do you think about this? Like, would you do this?" She was like, "No way." It was a young lady, probably in her 20s, probably on her knee, proposing to her significant other. And again, I would never do that. I'm in a, I feel like as a woman, again, yes, I'm the prize. I'm not going to say that you're not a prize as well, that you're not a blessing in my life, but I'm not going to propose to a man.
And the thing
Um,
is, to do it in front of like all the friends and stuff, that I feel like that would be
a private moment maybe.
like a private moment, but not in front of people, because that makes them feel like the weaker person in the. Not saying that women supposed to were weaker. It's just I feel like that's the thing a man should do. I don't know how to explain.
I mean, I didn't think it was
Unless you're in the same sex relationship, I feel like if you're in a heterosexual relationship and marriage is being proposed, I feel like it should be the man asking the woman to, you know what
I
I mean?
agree. I
Or
agree.
if y'all just have a discussion, y'all both decide, hey, let's get married. That's different.
Yeah,
But
but not me as a woman getting down on my knee in front of all my friends, all your friends at a dinner, and I'm proposing. I won't be doing that because again, I
it's
feel like
necessary.
I want the man to be honored. I want him to lead. I want to be able to submit and follow him. I'm not saying that if it's the other way around that it can't be done, but I think for me, again, with my generation, the way I feel about things as far as that, I think that I want to be able to let you take that lead. You know what I'm saying? As the man, and that's just period in the Bible. It's not about, oh, men are better or more superior. It's just not about that for me. Like I said, again, my generation, and women in my generation may feel like her. I'm gonna propose to a man. That's fine, but that's just me as you know. I'm not doing that, so I ain't doing that.
I'm not doing it either. And
I mean, and there was, I know this post was put out maybe. I originally saw the post maybe 6 months ago. Willie D on Instagram posted it, and he was like, "What do you all think about this?" He's an older rapper from Houston. He's probably a little bit older than me, and he asked, "What do y'all think about this?" And he talked about how if a young lady does that, he even went as far as talking about her having no real strong man in her life, maybe not having a good relationship with her dad, not having any strong male role models in her life, because if she did, she would never have done that. Like if she had like a man in her life, a dad or somebody, a man that really had an influence in her life and being a strong role model, she would not have ever done that. So he went as far as even discussing daddy issues or just having a male influence. So
yeah, I mean, that could be. I don't know. I don't know what
yeah.
these women decide that that's okay.
Hmm.
To me, it'll be humiliating as a man to have somebody, a woman propose if I was a man, because men know who they want, and they're not gonna take that long if they want you to
Right.
do
It's
it.
not going to take long at all. Sometimes it may not even, it may take 6 months and they know out, or it might be the first or second day and they be like, I know I want to pursue her as my wife. She looks like,
Yeah.
this is the woman that I want to pursue. And I've heard men actually say that. So it doesn't take them long at all. Now that we're talking about men proposing, or women proposing, I want to talk about, I don't know if you saw this on social media with Noel Jones, a pastor out of Los Angeles, 72 years old. This woman he has been dating for 28 years.
Mm.
She's probably in her 50s. He finally proposed to her probably about a week or so ago, but then he proposed to her with a ring out of a Cracker Jack box. So it was very, to me, when I talked to, a few people, me and my sister talked about it. To me, that was very disrespectful to
Yeah,
me as a man, as a woman who stood by your side for
almost 30
28
years,
years.
almost 3 decades.
You're 72 years old. You now this limp pickle. Now you barely making it. Like he was talking about. Oh, now she might have to push me in my wheelchair. I'm giving up my freedom for a straight jacket, making those type of comments. And you're a pastor, hearing the women in the audience cackling and howling and excited about it. To me, I felt like it was a very toxic environment. It was very
Very,
disrespectful.
very
It,
disrespectful.
I mean, for you, a woman has been by your side that long. You
Yeah.
should have flew her to Paris or Rome or London somewhere, got on your knee,
For
your
her
72-year-old
years.
knee, and had a canary diamond out saying, "I love you. I want to marry you," not making light of it on a
Yeah.
public stage like that. To me, I thought it was very, it just kind of again shows us how far we've come from honor and respect,
Yeah.
love, and just treating women with honor and valuing them, because how dare you do that? And to me, she didn't look happy. She looked miserable. She didn't look like this was something that she would have accepted, but she did anyway because she's been waiting by this man's side.
I'd have been like, you know what? Just how you did this, I can't do it no more. I gotta be happy. I was,
28 years, like this is how you present to the world that you want to be with me after 28 years. And I don't know, you were young, you were in your 20s when this show was on, Preachers of LA. They were on this show. They were dating then. This was
mm,
8 years ago. So at that time, they had been together for 20 years. He's dating her. He's dating other women. He's taking other
mm,
women out of town. She's still, again, his ride or die, sitting on the sidelines. And now that you about to fall
like,
apart,
would you blame him? Because she allowed him to treat her that way for 28 years.
I don't blame
So,
him at all. But I
I
still think it
mean,
was not the best example.
no,
I think she should have did better.
do
She
some
should have
more.
expected better.
She needs to really look within and see why she's allowing this man to treat her this.
Right.
Because
I
that's
think it
something.
was just funky on both of their parts. It was just like foul, like girl, you, and she's a very smart business owner, very intelligent woman. But the thing about it is, why would you accept that? You know what I'm saying? So it was just a bad.
Why would anybody accept things? People just want to feel loved. People just want to feel like they have
Right.
somebody, and regardless of how they treat them, at least I have somebody.
It's
But no,
better than nothing.
no,
It's better than nothing.
I'd rather be
And
alone.
what you say?
I'd rather be alone.
Right. And that's why I'm still single, because I'm not going to compromise. I'm not going to just accept just anything. You nice looking, you my type on the outside, you good or whatever, you love God. But guess what?
Just
I'm not, what'd you say?
and just trash.
Right, just trash. Like you just not it. And I've had men like that. I mean, very intelligent men, you know, you got a great job, you an engineer, you this, but then we haven't even met for coffee. I've never even met you, but you saying, I said, well, let's meet for coffee. Like you saying, that's the typical for get to know you
Hmm.
date in the daytime. Let's go meet for coffee, right? And he tells me, should I bring my overnight bag? I'm like, I don't know you. We haven't even had coffee, but you want to bring your. So again, red flags. Like, how
Yeah,
dare you? That's disrespectful again, because who do you think I am? I'm not desperate. And so that just, I don't know. That was just, it was sad. It was heartbreaking. I went out with another man. So as you guys can see, I've dated. I went out with another man. He works for the city of the state. He
hmm,
works under the congressman. So obviously a very successful man.
hmm.
We out on our first date. Oh, I would love to see you in that. Oh, you would look good in that. We having these types of conversations, and I barely met you less than 2 hours ago, and this is the kind of conversation. So now I feel uncomfortable. Now I feel awkward. Now basically what you're saying to me is you're looking at my body and you want to have sex with me. That's
Yeah.
what I'm interpreting this as. And
And
so
the fact
again,
that these men think that's okay to talk to women, it happened before, and women have
accepted it.
given what they wanted. Yeah. So they's like, well, if you're not going to accept it, somebody will.
Right. And that's why I think a lot of times when they talk about good women are single, but then good women are tired of being single. So good women start to compromise, start to say, I guess this is better than nothing, instead of saying, hey, I deserve better than this. I know I've been single for 10 years, but I deserve better. So as me and mine, as for me and my house,
Hmm.
Maronda will stay single until the right person comes along and I don't have to compromise who I am and
Right.
my standards. But I think it's just unfortunate.
It is. I've been on a date with. I haven't been on many dates,
Right.
but like the whole time he's talking to his dad, he brought me to a pizza joint and then bowling. Uh, right. Was talking to his dad the whole time, like no real conversation. I'm like
Talking to his dad, like texting or actually on the phone.
on the phone.
I'm surprised you stayed the whole time because I think I would have got up.
Yeah,
It wouldn't have been no pizza
I
and
didn't have
bowling.
a car or anything. It was before all
Mhm.
this Uber and stuff like that. Because
Wow.
yeah, it's been a minute. That was when I was still in Houston over 10 years ago.
Oh yeah. So I know
So,
you was like, I know you was like, we ain't getting a second date.
mm-mm, not at all.
Wow. Wow. And so I think a lot of times, like you said too, if women accept things, like you said, you won't accept it, but somebody else will.
Hmm.
That is the attitude that they have, and it's unfortunate.
Like
So
that, some men feel like they don't even have to try to get what they want from women. Like, no,
yeah,
I know.
and it's all in a woman's pursuit to be loved, a woman's pursuit for love. You know, when we're out here looking for love and we want to be loved and desired, it's like, where do we cross the line? What do we do? So I know you're probably wondering, you're listening to this, so you're probably saying, we didn't gave y'all all of this negative, all this stuff, all these sad stories. So it's like, how do we turn this around? How can we change the dynamic? What can we do differently? You know, I think for me as being a single woman, what I can share with the ladies that are listening to this, you know, I want you all to value and understand that you are enough and that you deserve better. You might have been single for a while, but I think that, you know, dating is fine, getting out there, enjoying your life. I think you should travel. I think you should pursue things that you enjoy, start doing things in the community. You know, go on Eventbrite and see what activity is going on in your community. Like they have whiskey runs and hot chocolate runs, and they have, you know, cigar lounges. If you're into that, they have travel groups for women. You know, go to a paint and sip, you know, go to a church event, a conference, start networking, getting out, meeting other women, join some groups or some small groups. I'm going to be starting a small group next week because I said, you know what, I need to keep myself busy. So I'm
Mhm.
not going to sit there and allow my life to wither away just because I don't have a man in my bed. I think as women, we're very intelligent, we're smart. I think we need to just know who we are, what we bring to the table. And I think that we need to just enjoy our lives. Don't allow our lives to just wither away, and just continue to believe that if it's meant to be,
Mhm.
love will find you. Or if, like Alaina said, if you're bold like that, ask him out for coffee, ask him out for dinner, ask him out to a movie or whatever you want to
The good
do.
men, they're scared to take their shot because they've been shot down a lot.
Right,
Some of
right. And
these men,
I've heard
they
that too.
probably want to talk to you, but they be like, maybe she's not interested. So sometimes
Right. Sometimes
you
they feel
gotta take the
intimidated.
lead. You gotta take the lead, but
Right.
do it small. Like we said,
Hmm.
make sure that you
If
just
you
walk
see a
up.
man,
Yeah.
yeah, if you see a man that you think is handsome, you're at church, you know, walk up to him, hey, how are you doing? This is my first time here. I've never seen you. Nice to meet you. What do you know, start up a small conversation. Ask him about the church or ask him about the event. If you're somewhere out, ask him about, hey, you know, how do you like the music here or whatever corny thing or whatever funny thing you want to say to get the conversation started. Yes, if you're bold enough to do that, do it. Enjoy your life. Don't be scared. Don't live life scared and intimidated. But I think as well, even though we make the first move, that doesn't mean we have to settle. You
Right.
know, I think we make the first move. If he's not the one or he turns out to be not the
That's
best
who you thought he
person,
was. Yeah.
just be like, well, you know what? I went out on a nice date. You know, I got dressed up and got cute and went out and had a good time. Maybe it wasn't the best time, but you know what? Then you're dusting the dust off of the dating, you know, whatever. and you're getting back out there again. So I think it's just baby steps and being bold
Right.
and just trying something new because, for me, I'm just going to start getting out here and just trying different things, going to different events. You just never know. So don't give up on love, ladies, just because we've told you these horror stories. I think it's just cautionary tales we wanted to share, because we don't want you to fall victim to these things that are going on in the world. We want you to be safe. We want you to
Yeah.
be careful out there. Talk to your daughters, your nieces.
He might ask you for money after a month. Big red flag.
If he asks you for money after a week, red flag. I think even after 6 months, if he asks you for money,
Like a
I still
big amount of money. Like,
right, especially like you said, a large amount of money, right? So be careful.
so I think that's it. We're gonna wrap up this week. Don't forget to join us on
Yes.
Mondays on Clubhouse and Thursdays on Clubhouse. Thursdays we usually discuss what we talk about on here. Mondays we do girl chat, have
Yes.
conversations with everybody we ever come up and talk with us. So we're building that community over there. So make sure that you come and join us
Come and
on
join
Mondays
us.
and Thursdays. Mondays it's 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, and Thursdays it's
6 p.m. Central Standard Time
p.m.
on Thursdays, and on
Thursday and
Mondays.
Friday and Mondays at 7 p.m. Standard Time.
Right.
So make sure you guys join us.
Thank you for joining this conversation. It was a little serious, but it was also, I believe, informative. So join the Unlikely Sisters community. Share this out. Let people know about it. Share this with your girlfriends, your daughters, your nieces, and every woman that you know, even the young men. Share this out, and we are looking forward to seeing you next week. Thanks, guys, for joining. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye, you guys.